Then he goes on to say, where could the thought God holds of you exist but where you are? Outside you, there is no eternal sky, no changeless star, and no reality. The mind of heaven's Son in heaven is. Our mind is inside the mind of God. For there the mind of Father and of Son joined in creation, which can have no end. You have no two realities but one. This is the path of oneness. Nor can you be aware of more than one. An idol or the thought of God holds of you is your reality. So you either decide that your reality is God, your wholeness, your oneness, your pure perfection, or you're going to create an unreality, which appears like your reality, that you're broken, that you're not good enough, that you need something outside of you to complete you. So you have to choose one or the other. It's impossible to hold both at the same time. While we're returning, we descended into the one thought system of the ego, still had the knowingness, which is what's calling us out. So that star in you is shining, and that's what's activating the desire, the frequency of truth that is making us want to move and return back home. Forget not then that idols must keep hidden what you are. Not from the mind of God, but from your own. So if you think that thing outside of you is what makes you happy, it's keeping you from remembering the truth of who you are. So simple, right? So simple. The star shines still. The sky has never changed. But you, the Holy Son of God himself, are unaware of your reality. Powerful. So I'm just jumping around. Appearances can but deceive the mind that wants to be deceived. And you can make a simple choice that will forever place you far beyond deception. Go back to, we have to make a decision. Got to make that choice. You need not concern yourself with how this will be done, for this you cannot understand. You cannot possibly understand how the Holy Spirit speaks in you. You cannot possibly understand how everything is going to be aligned for the purpose of your return home. We cannot understand it, but we have to begin to develop trust. Because to the ego, I need to see it to believe it, but to the soul, I need to believe it in order to see it. So it's a total reversal. And that feeling, that beginning to feel that peace, that love, that wholeness inside of us is what begins to let us know we're on the right path. It's a feeling. You need not concern yourself with how this will be done. For this you cannot understand, but you will understand that mighty changes have been quickly brought about when you decide one very simple thing. You do not want whatever you believe an idol gives. For thus the Son of God declares that he is free of idols. And thus is he free. You make a declaration today that you're going to follow the path of oneness. There is only one truth. And Jesus came to say, I am the way, I am the light, I am the truth. He wasn't saying, I am, worship me, I am the way. He was saying, I did it, so can you. And he is laying out in A Course in Miracles, the way, the light, and the truth. And we are the ones who are free to decide, I'm going to accept it or not. Salvation is a paradox indeed. What could it be except a happy dream? It asks you, but that you forgive all things that no one ever did, to overlook what is not there, and not to look upon the unreal as reality. We are being asked to recognize that nobody did anything to the eternal soul that we are. Forgiveness is very clear. It is the acceptance that nothing has affected what God created whole and complete, except that I forgot that. So we're forgiving ourselves for forgetting the truth because we got bamboozled into thinking that we needed something external to make us feel good. Because we learned that when we were little kids. Mommy and Daddy couldn't be happy until we shut up, until we ate our vegetables, until we did our homework, until we did something they couldn't be happy. So we learned we can't be happy until somebody else does something for us. Do you see how simple it is? A child created a perception. It never got questioned by unconscious people. We've all been repeating it. So the insanity has been going on while humans have been on this planet, hiding the truth that has been there always. So you are but asked to let your will be done and seek no longer for the things you do not want. And you are asked to let yourself be free of all the dreams of what you never were, and seek no more to substitute the strength of idle wishes for the will of God. Here does the dream of separation start to fade and disappear. I'm jumping down to a section number 5, still in chapter 30, called The Only Purpose. The real world is the state of mind in which the only purpose of the world is seen to be forgiveness. So while we are in this world, the Course in Miracles is really clear. While we're in hell, there is only one role that we have, and that is to forgive ourselves for forgetting that we are whole, and forgive others for they know not what they're doing, because they obviously have forgotten their wholeness. If they're hurting others, they're not happy. Happy people don't hurt anybody. Hurt people are hurting because they're not happy, because they have forgotten their wholeness inside of them. So it is our job to be the light of the world so that we can shine that there isn't a way to return to wholeness. And then when somebody else is not behaving whole, it is not our job to tell them, hey, you're behaving unholy. It is your job to say, hey, brother, sister, I remember that there's holiness in you. I'm going to hold that to be the truth while you do whatever you do. But I have found holiness in me, and I cannot see you as anything other than how God created you, because now I know the truth about who you are. So I cannot judge you anymore, because that would be to go against my truth. And I'm not going to feel bad. I'm not going to shift my happiness and be righteous about what you did wrong to me. I'm just going to say you're using your power to do whatever you're doing, and I'm going to use mine. And I'm going to wave my magic wand, my miracle wand. And in this moment, I am going to stand firm in yours and my holiness. I'm not going to judge your form. I'm not going to judge your behavior. I am simply going to see you as God created you, whole, perfect, and complete. A magnificent being here on this planet, giving me the opportunity for me to remember that. So I'm going to continue reading. So the value of forgiveness is perceived and takes the place of idols, which are sought no longer, for their gifts are not held dear. No rules are idly set, and no demands are made of anyone or anything to twist and fit into the dream of fear. We're not going to demand anybody to stand on their heads to make us happy. No longer. Instead, there is a wish to understand all things created as they really are. And it is recognized that all things must be first forgiven and then understood. Here is the thought that understanding is acquired by attack, here in the world of hell. There, in the world of heaven, it is clear that by attack is understanding lost. The minute we attack somebody, we can't remember. We no longer understand their holiness. The possibility of freedom has been grasped and welcomed, and the means by which it can be gained can now be understood. Freedom. We're moving to freedom. Freedom is what love is. Love is freedom. When you know your wholeness, you set everybody free to be however they are, because you know that they cannot affect you, they cannot alter you, they cannot change you, which is why God doesn't need to forgive us, because God knows no matter how many shenanigans we may be participating on this planet, God knows that through every experience of what is called death, our soul returns to its knowingness, its oneness with God, which is where Jesus is right now, giving us a channeling material to us. And Jesus is not the only one channeling to us right now. I mean, you can go to YouTube and you can find all kinds of channels. There's thousands of people who have become vessels receiving the truth, and you can feel the truth because you feel that it uplifts whoever it is that they're sharing this message with. The possibility of freedom, isn't that amazing, is grasped and welcomed, and the means by which it can be gained can now be understood. How do you get your freedom? Very simple. Have the willingness to make the decision to listen to the voice for God, so you stop listening to the voice for the ego. Once you begin to listen to the voice for the Holy Spirit, the voice of the ego is going to kick up for a while, but then eventually it has to give up its power because you stand firm in that you want to feel happy instead of right. And that's when judgments begin to drop away. The world becomes a place of hope because its only purpose is to be a place where hope of happiness can be fulfilled. And no one stands outside this hope because the world has been united in belief. The purpose of the world is one, which all must share, if hope be more than just a dream. Inside of every single one of us is the same desire to be seen, to be loved, to be whole, to be complete, to be at peace. It doesn't matter what means they're using to show their discomfort. All of it is in search for happiness and wholeness inside. Why? Because everybody's operating from a misperception about who they are, and they're doing the best that they can to gain that wholeness, whether it's through food, whether it's through money, whether it's through killing somebody, whether it's through getting to heaven by, being a terrorist and killing people. Our minds have been filled with all kinds of nonsense. We need not hold that against anybody. Because just like us, they got conditioned with misinformation. But we all have the same one purpose. This is what the path to oneness is. What is that one purpose? And then commit to that. I'll keep reading. The final step, once we make the step to return, you cross that bridge. The final step is God's. Because it is but God who could create a perfect Son and share his fatherhood with him. No one outside of heaven knows how this can be, for understanding this is heaven itself. When we can feel that God has received us, it's simply because we have received God. There is no possible way for anybody to explain that to you. You just have to feel it. And you cannot feel it if you're listening to the ego and believing you're less than how God created you. The final step is God receiving us as the recognition that we have received God. The story of the prodigal son in the Bible, this is what it is. Jesus was giving us a story, a metaphor, an illustration that God does not care if you're a good child or a bad child. All are going to receive the same welcoming party when we return to the truth of who we are. Pure happiness and joy is all that awaits us when we accept our wholeness. And in our wholeness, we free ourselves from the bondage of our ego mind, and then we set all other beings free. That is love. Fear is gone because its purpose is forgiveness, not idolatry. The purpose of fear is the indicator that there is a call for forgiveness. If you have an irritation, a fear has kicked up, you would not be irritated otherwise. Find that fear. That fear is going to lead you to forgiveness. Fear has a role, and it is to let you know that you are running on empty, like the light in your car comes on when you need gas. It's not telling you you're stupid because you let the gas run out. It's telling you you need gas. So you have a fear. Don't make yourself wrong for the fear. It's an indicator. Forgiveness is called for. I'm running on empty, believing there's a hole in me. Forgiveness restores me to wholeness because I am worthy of miracles. See how beautiful that is? So simple. And so is heaven's Son, prepared to be himself and to remember that the Son of God knows everything his Father understands, and understands it perfectly with him. When we receive God, God receives us. All knowledge, all knowingness, all truth will be restored to us. But you cannot know all that God knows until you get to the place that you're comfortable not knowing anything. Because we've got to be comfortable not knowing anything that has been taught to us. The mind that knows is a mind of learning. The heart that knows is a heart that has aligned with God. And you don't need to know. Why do you not need to know anything in any given moment? Because you have made a decision, because you've been willing to call on the Holy Spirit. What would you have me do? What would you have me say? Now, you listen to the voice that knows, and it's there for you all the time. I love not knowing. It is so liberating that I don't need to know anything. But when I get into a situation that I need an answer, God, what do I need to know? Jesus, I download, please. I like saying, I need backup. It's just fun saying that. So the next thing I'm going to read is the real world is a state in which the mind has learned how easily do idols go when they are still perceived but wanted not. The things of the world will come and go. And this is where minimalism begins to come in. You know, Buddha, Jesus, they did not die with a will because they didn't have anything to leave anybody. Mm-hmm. They barely had the clothes on their back. Why? Because like the lilies of the valley, they knew that they were going to be taken care of. They were going to be fed wherever they went. They knew that they would be housed, they would be clothed, there would be something to drink. That trust is the trust of the faith that says, I believe it, and then I'm going to see it. Because in this world of form, what I think about, I bring about. So instead of filling my life with stuff that makes me feel angst, because if it moves, it makes me nervous, instead, I'm going to walk around with empty hands because my Father, Mother God, whatever you want to call it, will always fill me up. Wherever I go, I will get exactly what I need. Do you guys remember anybody reading a book about a woman that she called herself Peace Pilgrim?
Yeah. I saw her once.
She walked for years, just the clothes on her back. And she walked the United States in the 70s and 80s maybe even. And read the story. Look it up, Peace Pilgrim. And she decided that she had so much love in her heart, she was just going to walk around this country sharing her love. She was so at peace. She trusted that wherever I go, I'm going to be taken care of. Powerful.